on Money Magic, right? It's another Tuesday. You know that on Tuesdays we do these lectures either on love spells, psychic seduction, or money magic. Today it happens to be a lecture on money magic. Incredible. Okay, awesome. Well, where do we start, man? Where do we start? See, what I've found is that whenever something's not working, it's about the basics. No matter how complicated something looks, no matter how confusing something is, it can be understood. All right, and you understand it by trying to find out what the most basic part of it is. Okay, and then you see how these basic parts are stacked upon each other, and then you will have the entire picture. Right? Now, why would you do that? See, when it comes to magic, most people have the approach where they just throw spaghetti at the wall. Right? You could say that's the approach, right? It's just they want something, and then they do a ritual, and then they hope that there's a result. You see. Now, that is an approach, and it can give you results, but it will not give you results consistently, and it's definitely not going to get you results with things that are hard to accomplish. Okay, specifically when we're talking about money magic, it seems to be most magicians' MO to do spells. I don't know. Manifest a little bit of cash so they can buy a soda with it and a sandwich. I don't know what the goal is, but it definitely doesn't look like something that is worthwhile, I would believe. Okay, so I'm a very lazy guy. I am. I work day and night, but only because it's my purpose and I'm interested in it. So it's not really work. But when it comes to like accomplishing things, I want to get things done as quickly and as efficiently as possible, you see. And the best teacher when it comes to that is Mother Nature. One of the best teachers. There are others too, but Mother Nature is one of the best, you see. When we look at Mother Nature's laboratory, or her school, it's evolution, right? The evolutionary process. And the game is survival, right? The game is to survive. Life wants to, maintain itself. And what you will find is that the better organized the animal, the better it survives. Okay, so let's look at nature, the jungle. Right? Imagine an animal that is uncoordinated. Okay, so let's say the back legs and then the front legs are not well coordinated. In other words, well organized. How long is that animal going to survive? Not that long. It's either going to be hunted down very fast, right? If it's prey, or it's gonna die of starvation if it's a predator, because it's never going to catch anything. Right? So that's just one example. Now, for us, our evolution happens in the mind for the most part. What makes us better at survival is we have the ability to build tools. Right? That's why we can kill an elephant. We can build tools to kill the elephant. Right? And I do believe that, like I said, our evolution happens in the mind, and the same principle applied to our thought process, the same applied to whatever else activity we do, even magic, will make us survive better. In other words, get better results. Okay. So survival in that sense is not really genetic survival, but getting the job done when others can't, getting better results, maximizing the outcome. Okay. Now let's define organization and efficiency. What does that mean? Efficiency means the biggest bang for the buck, or the biggest result with the least effort, you could say. Right? Now, what does that mean? See, when we look at magic, we have really we have multiple possibilities, right? We're looking at a quantum system. I'm sure you've seen this before, either I don't know, maybe in an animation, or maybe you've heard somebody talk about that stuff, right? I mean, it's in everybody's mouth these days, right? It's essentially we have a quantum system, right? Something like what's that called? Reality transurfing would be a good theory for that. Okay, so we have a physical reality. However, the mind and reality interact with each other. All right. Reality is probabilistic. Well, what does that word mean? It just means that there are multiple possible outcomes. Okay. Some are more likely than others. Okay. And what determines how likely a possibility is? Well, the amount of energy that it takes to collapse that wave function into a physical outcome, so to speak. Okay, so the more likely, the easier it is to make it happen. The less likely it is, the more energy it requires to make it happen. You see. Now, when you do a ritual, when you do magic, you are using energy in order to make something happen. Big things, meaning things that are actually desirable, things that are not easy to accomplish. In other words, loads and loads of money. We're talking about money magic here, or big sums. That takes lots of energy, right? Because it is less likely. Is it easier to manifest 100 than it is to manifest 100,000? Yes, it is. All right, about 1,000 times easier, right? Which means much less energy. So, based on what I just said before this example, you should know. I think it makes sense to understand that, or I think it makes sense to take an approach where we can minimize the effort in order to maximize the outcome, because it will have concrete results. The biggest bang for the buck. Now, of course, you can take the same approach for other forms of magic, but like I said, it's a lecture on money magic here. Okay, so a certain way of thinking about this topic and a certain way of applying this understanding to your rituals will give you incredible results that will not be accomplished by 99% of the magicians out there. See, magic is a science, and it can be understood by breaking it down in a way that I'm just going to do. Okay, so like I just said, and I have my fancy board here again. So let me start with saying this. Okay, I'm just repeating what I just said. All right, so reality is probabilistic. It's a quantum system. So there are multiple different outcomes for each event. Okay, and they differ in terms of their likelihood of happening. All right. So let's say the chance of one event happening is 1 in 10. All right. The event for the likelihood for another one is 1 in 1,000. All right. So when 1 in 1 would mean that it is going to happen, like absolute certain. Okay. I think that makes sense. See, 1 in 1 means like it's going to happen. All right. So the outcome of one thing would be, let's say one occurrence, it's 1 in 10. In the other case, it's 1 in 100. All right. So when you're doing a ritual, what is it that you're doing? You're picking one specific outcome You're picking one specific outcome, and you're putting so much energy into it in order to increase the likelihood of it happening. So in other words, you're trying to reduce this number. So you want to turn it from 1 in 100 into 1 in 10 or 1 in 101. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's say in this case, I don't know. Let's say the event was highly unlikely. All right. So let's say you have this high paying job that you're not qualified for at all. Okay, and you're competing with I don't know, Ivy League people, and you're sending your resume. Okay, now what's the chances of you getting the job? It could be 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000, whatever. It's very unlikely that you will get the job, right? So the ritual would be the attempt to increase your chances. So you want to take it from 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 10. All right. Now, what's that actually going to look like? The outcome of that happening? Well, I don't know. People will get sick and they can't show up for the interview, or they have for some reason they get a different interview somewhere else where they want to work, or So step by step, the people are going to be moved away. Okay, that's what could happen, and then I don't know, for some reason, for whatever reason, you're going to be the last man standing or last woman standing, and you're going to get the job then, right? Or for some reason that person likes you a lot and just sees something special in you, you see, and then they're like, let's take a chance here, right? So that's how you want to affect reality, right? So what you're doing is, in actuality, you're increasing your chances of getting a specific outcome. Now, I mentioned something about the approach of throwing spaghetti at the wall, which is what most magicians do, right? Now, that means that you're using the amount of energy that you have, and whatever amount of energy you have as a magician, no matter who you are, it's still not that much, to be honest. Okay, it's still not that much. You're going to be able to make things happen here and there, and even if you use spirits require energy too. Okay, spirits require energy too. When you use the traditional approach of witchcraft, very, very fast, you're going to reach the levels of your influence, or the limits of your influence. All right, very fast. Depending on, like, if it's incredible for you to do a love spell here and there, oh my God, that girl actually wanted me, or I got laid, or I don't know, I actually got to curse that person and something actually happened to them, blah 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 blah. If that's a big deal in the beginning, that's a big deal. I get it. In the beginning, that's a really big deal. Like, you're working so hard to finally get the shit done, and then 2 out of 10 rituals work, 3 out of 10 rituals work in somewhere or another. You see an effect, right? Like, you get better and better, and you attain more and more control. But at one point, you will reach your limitations. What if you want to influence like massive groups of people? Or what if this person is sick there, and you don't want them to die. You just want to heal them. You want to make sure that they make it, and people beg you, please help me with this. What are you going to do with that, bro? What are you going to do? Well, then you got to use intelligence to make your magic stronger, you see? So just like tools allow us to just like tools allow us to kill an elephant that is 100 times stronger. Like, I don't know how many times stronger an elephant is, right? But we can do that. We can kill an elephant. Even one person could kill an elephant, right? Because we can build tools. So in the same way, you can use a certain thought process in order to accomplish things that, I don't know, 1,000 magicians could not accomplish, but you alone will be able to do it. All right, and this is what I'm going to reveal to you today. And I really urge you to listen. All right, and I'm going to break it down very, very simple. You're going to have it's going to be very easy to understand. However, it's always good to watch the replay and really let it sink in, because what is understanding? Let's define it. What is understanding something? Understanding something is not just kind of like getting the idea in the moment, and then it's not even being able to repeat what you heard. Really understanding something is you have penetrated it mentally and you're able to apply it to your individual situation in your life. That is the definition of really understanding something. You can say overstanding, right? Whatever. The point is you're able, this content has become knowledge. Once you are able to apply it, it's become yours. Okay, and this is my goal. I want you to listen to this and then to use it to make your magic better. All right, you know my mission. I can already do this stuff. All right, my mission though is to really affect massive change in the world. Okay, you're going to hear much more about that through apotheism. However, I cannot do that myself. I cannot change the world or affect the world at the scale that I want by myself, because at the end of the day, it's one mind. So in order to affect the collective unconscious, you got to affect a lot of minds. You see, and this is one way to do it. Okay, so let's talk about the actual topic here. So money magic deals with money. All right, for that we have to first understand what money actually is. Okay, so I mentioned something similar in a lecture that I did a month ago, 2 months ago, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, what is money? Money is energy, but a specific type of energy. Okay, money follows mundane laws, but also energetic laws. All right, so one of the laws that money follows is the law of attention. Law of attention. All right. Imagine a person walking through a shopping mall. Right? Shopping mall, and that lady sees a beautiful dress in the window. Right? She's like, "Oh, wow!" Boom. Her attention has been captured, and now energy is flowing from her to the dress. Right? Good. So attention has been captured. She takes a look. She moves it, or she walks into the store, looks at it. She still likes it, and then the lady that works there walks up to her. Hey, how can I help you? Do you like this dress? And she's like, yeah, I would actually like to put it on. Do you have it in my size? Do you have it in my size? And she checks. Yes, we actually have it in your size. Okay. Attention is still on the dress. And she puts it on, looks at herself in the mirror. She still likes it. She buys it and leaves the store. All right. Now, of course, before she left the store, she left money there. Right? So what made money change the owner? Attention, you see. So money follows attention. It's a very big deal. Okay. Money follows attention. When it comes to money, and I think this was the very first lecture that I did, we have to understand that it's an energy form that is very, very unique in a sense where it follows laws of other energy forms that we know in the physical world, such as, electricity, but also metaphysical laws. They're kind of like mental laws, because it is a mental concept for the most part, right? A mental concept that structures resources and physical elements. But one of those is attention. All right, and not just any attention. It's actually positive attention, or positive or well-meaning attention. Okay, let me give you another example. Compare two people on the street. Okay, let's say you have a homeless person that is just sitting there, and they just have a sign of, I need money for food. Okay, now of course you should give money to those people, I believe, of course. However, compare that guy or girl to a street performer that is, I don't know, like singing an amazing song or is dancing or I don't know, whatever, a street performer, maybe doing stand-up comedy, you see, and gathers people around him and they're just cracking up, they're just amazed by his fucking skills and control over his body or whatever, you see, but they're just amazed by that person and then what they can do. Who do you think is going to have more money at the end of the day? Right? I think that's easy. See, it's like both trying to grab attention, right? But one person is like producing something or they're creating something to gather that attention. The other person is just sitting there, And it's also like, think about the energy that's being created. What is the energy that's being created? The street performer, let's say the guy that does stand up, what is the energy that he's creating? It's like laughter, it's like positive energy, it's good energy. It's like, wow, captivating. People like to pay attention, right? And what about that other guy? It's kind of like, whatever. You would actually give that guy money to leave, like just a little bit. Let's just leave, right? You don't want him around. All right. So that's also something that you have to understand. It's like the type of energy differs. So in order to understand a process, you have to understand a couple of things. See, the universe consists of energy, yes, but energy flows. And as it flows, it transforms into different forms. It transforms, it transforms into different forms. It's kind of like in there, right? So, it's the entire universe is one big energetic system, right? But there's energy moving through different, let's say, transformers, okay? You are a transformer of energy. You breathe, you take in oxygen, and you breathe out CO2. Now, that CO2 that you're breathing out used to be oxygen, that you were breathing in. But within chemical processes that happen in your body, it transformed from O2 into CO2, right? And the same with everything else. All the food that you eat, you take it into your system, it is transformed. Energy is being created, and a lot of other byproducts. Right? So you are a transformer of energy. You transform energy. And the same applies to everything else. Even if this thing doesn't look like it does, it does. Just does it much slower than this body. That's also why I have a higher temperature than this. But everywhere energy is being transformed, and at the end of the day, it's one energetic system. The entire universe is one energetic system. The same with mind and the physical world. They're not really separate. They're just different densities and they interact in some way or another. All right. So in order to understand a process, or first of all, let me say, why would you want to understand a process? See, we talked about reducing or increasing the probability of what it is that you want. Are you familiar with dim mak? Dim mak is a martial arts technique where you hit nerve endings, and specifically the points on the body where a lot of nerve endings come together and meet. Why would you do that? It's because, they're so-called pressure points, yes. Whoever said that here. But why would you do that? Because it is much more efficient. If you hit somebody in that spot, the entire system will collapse. All right. Whereas if you punch someone in the arm, nothing really is going to happen. You see? So let's take a child that is very weak, but even with the force that a child generates, punching a grown man, the biggest guy that you can imagine, punching that guy in the right spot, he will collapse and possibly die. Why? Because the nervous system, the entire nervous system is being affected. All right. So with one punch, a child can knock out the biggest guy that you can imagine, right? Because they have weak points, right? However, in order to hit that weak spot, of course, you have to understand what that system looks like, the system of the body, you see? And the body is, like I said, it's a process that transforms one form of energy into another. Actually, many forms of energy, but let's keep it simple. The body is a system that transforms one form of energy into another form of energy, right? I take food energy and I transform it into body heat. Creating money is also just a process, all right? So in order to understand the process of money, we first have to understand what is being transformed. We just understood, or we just described that the process of creating money is attention. The particle or the energy that is being transformed is attention. Attention is being transformed into money. And they're both forms of energy, remember, okay? Where attention goes, energy flows. So for anything in the universe, you can create a diagram of a process, which looks like a pipeline, right? I know on these lectures you hear a lot about pipelines, but this is so fundamental that you can literally apply to anything else, okay? So everything in this universe, anything in here, can you even see this? Can you even see this? I gotta grab a different marker, 1 second. I think I have a bunch of them over there. Be right back, guys. Better. Perfect. Okay. So everything in life and in the universe, and the beautiful thing about life is, man, isn't it awesome that you can understand the entire universe by looking at a tiny process? The universe is fractal, which means as above, so below, which means the biggest possible concept is reflected in the smallest one. So by understanding one process, you literally understand the entire existence. It's like I'm just mind blown by this, all the fucking time. It's just crazy. But think about it, okay? So everything in the universe is a process like this, okay? Where one form of energy is transformed into another. In this case, we had attention, and money was being created, right? Now, in the different steps, I just broke down to you, okay? So dress captured attention, right? Lady tried on the dress, she still liked it and then paid for it, all right? So the dress, whatever, it's just a means to an end, obviously, right? Now, this is very fundamental stuff, and you're like, okay, well, you might be, well, I get that, Frank. Well, tell me how to fucking create a money spell, but this is not as simple as it sounds, okay? So bear with me, I'm gonna break it down to you. See, let's say attention particles move through this pipeline, and when you use the pipeline correctly, money comes out on the other side. Any process can be broken down like that. And as you break it down, you will find the weak spots. You will find the spots where your energy will cause maximum effects with very few or very little effort. Remember, with the body is the same thing, okay? So let's say you have a person here that is apparently very strong. It's not in real life, this would be like Muscle Man or He-Man or who the fuck, whoever you want to think about here. A very strong person. Very strong person is a system that transforms energy. Food is energy, is into various expressions of life. So let's say one of the expressions of food energy, the transformation leads to heat, okay? Heat. Or mental energy, okay? Mental energy is being produced through food. This here is his body and the various organs and you know, he's got a heart here. He's got I don't know if it's a guy, he's got a, I don't know, a bladder. You get the idea, right? He's got a nervous system, that is actually connected to everything, you see? Me, by understanding the structure of this body, I see a map, you see? I see a map and I know where the weak links are. Where are in the body are the spots where a lot of nerve endings meet. And if I just affect that little small spot, I will affect the entire system. And it doesn't take a lot of energy to make that happen. So I can collapse the entire person. Imagine the amount of energy. Remember, this is a very, very strong guy. Very, very powerful. Imagine the amount of energy that it takes. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight, or I don't know if you've ever been sparring. It takes a whole lot of fucking energy to knock somebody out. It's really hard. You know, it's not like in the movies to knock somebody out. It's really hard. By the way, you don't get knocked out by a straight punch. You get knocked out by a concussion. You know, you got to give somebody a concussion to knock them out, which is basically like this. Okay, it's almost impossible to knock somebody out like this with a fist into the face. You got to give them a concussion. Anyways, it's hard. It takes a lot of energy. A child is not going to knock out the rock. It's not going to happen. Not enough energy there. However, if you hit the right nerve endings, or the spot where a lot of nerve endings meet, a very weak spot is below the neck here, the center of the chest. Another one is below the armpits, you know. You could do some serious damage to the point of killing someone with the force that a child can generate. All right. So the system of the body is, look, energy comes in, food energy comes in, it is processed, and let's say mental energy or heat is created. And based on this structure, you can create a pipeline here, okay? Because things don't happen randomly. There's a certain order in which things happen, you see? That's why you got step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So everything happens in a specific sequence. And by understanding the sequence and the structure of the system, it takes a fraction of the energy to accomplish what it is that you want, you see? Whereas if you were to approach this guy with all of your force, let's say the child, the 6-year-old kid, gets really, really brave and just gathers all the strength and power it has and runs towards the rock. What is the rock going to do? I mean, well, what's going to happen to them? Well, nothing. It's not, you know, and this is what most people do with their rituals. And this is what most magicians do with their money rituals. And this is probably also what you've been doing. So what do we learn from this? What do we know here? It means that you have to completely understand the process of how money comes to you. You got to ideally change the system on how money comes to you. And then your magic is going to yield results that are out of this fucking world. All right. So even if your rituals are just, let's say the best magician in the world, the most powerful magician, the Merlin type of thing, okay? The Merlin can reduce the chances of a certain occurrence from 1 in a million to 1 in 100. What would that be? 1 in a million. I do the chances of 1 in a million. I don't know. I do a ritual, and Megan Fox is going to show up at my door tomorrow, half naked, ready to have sex. This is, I mean, it's not that I want that or whatever. It's just that that's kind of like the approach that people take when they do their spells. All right, is that going to happen? No. Like through the ritual, maybe I have reduced the chances of 1 in 100, but it's still not going to happen realistically. And these chances are probably even like smaller in real life, right? And then people get frustrated and tell you that magic doesn't work. Well, magic doesn't work. I did this ritual, it didn't work. Well, bro, you're not using your intelligence. If you use intelligence for this, you'd actually make it happen. So the amount of energy that you can gather applied in an intelligent way will allow you to do seemingly impossible things. So how exactly does this work? For you personally, this means a couple things. All right. So you have to learn, or you have to find a way to capture the attention of people. All right. You have to find a way to capture the attention of people. That is the first step. Attention. You have to keep the attention. You have to, once you keep the attention, you have to exchange something of value. But before that, of course, you have to understand what is valuable to that individual. Okay. So what you do is, ideally, you figure that out beforehand, because you're not going to be able to get the attention if you don't understand what the person thinks is valuable. You see? You keep the attention, then you exchange. It's just a transformation. You see what I mean? The energy is already there. Your money already exists here. You just got to hold the energy with you until this attention is exchanged for something else. And as a reward for that, you're going to get money. Okay, exchange, and then this equals the outcome that you wanted. This is a transformational process of energy. Okay, this is how energy is being transformed. See, any of these things, any of these processes, see it like water flowing through a pipeline. Okay, if it's a flow of energy, or think of a river. Okay, a river, through certain manipulations, you can increase the flow of water. Okay, you can redirect it. You can slow it down. It's just a flow of water, and the same applies to a flow of energy. Now, what you first of all have to understand is your individual process of making it happen. How do you capture attention? And there are many different ways of doing that. How do you capture attention in the world? And how do you turn that? How do you keep the attention and then exchange it for something that goes here? You see. First of all, don't let yourself be limited by the potential out there, because the potential there is not limited. It's really just your understanding of what it is that you're doing. So one of the first things that you should do is, what allows me to naturally capture the attention of people? What is it that I get attention for? Okay? What is it that I get attention for? If you have nothing that you could say here, think about what you get rewarded for, or what is it that people acknowledge about you. And that will be your way to capture attention, because even if it's not like I don't know, we were talking about this street performer or whatever, if it's not that, and let's say you're just you're a person that is just very good at keeping the books, you're very introverted, you're very You're very good at keeping order and stuff like that, which is usually also connected in some way or another. Very few people that are extremely extroverted are also good at keeping keeping the details intact. It's very few people that can do that. So that will be your way of capturing attention, and that can be a way to generate to transform the attention into money. See, that's how you should see it. That's how you should see it. So where does magic come into play here? Where does magic come into play? See, that's a good question. A very good question. Because here's what it looks like. So what you can do is once you get this, once you get the diagram with the different steps. So you have the diagram with the different steps. You can transform that into what's called an organization board. Okay, this can be turned into an organization board, which looks like this. Okay. Okay, and these have sub organizations somewhere or another, right? Maybe this one has only one, this one has another two. All right, so so remember, these things happen in sequence, okay? And you will transform those into like these are like general categories, and you will take those and let's say that you only have 3 steps here, and we got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the entire process, the name of the process would be here. All right, and what you do is you got 3 steps, boom, boom, boom. But then you break down those 3 steps into even more detailed steps. Okay, 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, 3.1, 3.2. And when you do this, and any process can be broken down like that, when you do this step by step by step by step by step, you will find the point, that is the nerve ending, or rather, you will find the point where most nerve endings come together. And then you use your magic on that. You use your entire energy on that point. Okay, and just like you could destroy an entire body, or even an organization can be destroyed like that. Okay, in this case, I don't know, let's say you want to take down what's an organization here? What would be a good example here? How would you destroy Tesla? How would you destroy Tesla? And this is also why I don't like to don't buy stock of Tesla. I don't like it long term, because it's too dependent on one guy. Okay? Too dependent on one guy. If that guy makes a mistake, or if that guy is seriously compromised, the entire company is gonna go down. It's not that the concept is wrong. However, it's not gonna happen within Tesla. You're gonna have companies break off and do their own thing based on what he developed. Okay, so let's say compromise Elon Musk. Okay, Tesla is a big thing now. Okay, with Tesla, it's a little bit too obvious here. Okay, because like that's obvious, Elon Musk, right? But think about, what would be another example? What would be another example that is fitting here? Taking over another country. Taking over another country. All right. A country is nothing but a process, and it's organized in a certain way. All right. That's what it is. So what you will do is you will analyze the country, and this is, I promise you, this is how secret services do that, right? So before you start a war to take over this other country, you analyze the processes. You understand the government structures, the chain of command, how do things work there, blah, 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 blah. And then you will have a a process. Out of that process, you create this organization board. And based on that organization board, you will see exactly, it could be 1 or 2 people that you have to take out. And boom, you will start a revolution. You will make a government collapse. You can look, I mean, there are many, many more complicated approaches that you can take, okay? But the key that I'm trying to transfer here is we want maximum results with minimum effort. The way to do that is to have the basic understandings that I gave you. Money follows the law of attention, not just attention. In the first lecture that I did here on these series of lectures, I went into many different laws. Okay, and you can affect money in based on all of these different forms of energy. Okay, so in this case, let's say it's not the law of attention, but it's a law of accumulation. You could create, based on this other law, you could create another pipeline and another organization board, and then boom, affect that one thing. Now, see, I said before that coordination is a survival quality. So everything that is well at surviving is coordinated, which just means organized. Okay, so that the animal, the hind legs and the forelegs are well coordinated. So the entire animal is well organized. Okay, so what about your life? Do you have something like this for your own life? For your own, you actually should have something like this for every area of your life, you see. See, first of all, you cannot improve what you can't measure. That's the first thing. Secondly, most likely, see, if you're not using something like this, such an approach, you are wasting your energy. Remember, like that 6-year-old kid that was trying to topple the rock. You are trying to accomplish a lot of things in your life with the same approach. And sometimes it just takes a little shift, a little tweak, but you're not going to know what needs to be changed unless you have an organization like this. And this is why I want to talk a little bit about, for the rest of this call, I want to talk a little bit about how to structure yourself and how to organize. Right? So, a lot of things in this life, are dependent on what we think is necessary. All right, and money is definitely one of those. See, money is a form of energy that follows purpose. Money follows purpose. You will not find a single billionaire out there that had the intention of making billions. It was always something else. All right. Now, of course, they could have the sub goal of getting rich and whatever, but it was not the main drive. You cannot have the main drive of money. I'll tell you why. Because if your main drive is money, it's like having your main drive being food. Once you have enough to not feel hungry anymore, the motivation is going to run out. And a lot of people, when you see this on social media, like people motivating themselves through objects. I saw actually on Instagram, I saw this post. People try to motivate themselves to become millionaires, and they were posting cars and mansions. This is most people's concept of money. This is not what money is actually about, and this is not what money follows. Okay. It's a purpose. It's a purpose. What you use money for. Money is nothing but an energy form that allows you to fulfill your purpose. And if your purpose is having a specific car, you're going to get as much money. Look, the universe is energy too. So it responds to you, a certain way of looking at it. Remember, it's quantum mechanics. So when you look at money in terms of, I want enough money so that I can buy this, that's the top. That's the limit that you can hit. and that's it. Then it's going to cease to be there. So your purpose must, if you want resources that are like where money is not a thought, because every money is always going to be there, you have to have a purpose that is completely beyond material objects. That's the first one. Okay, so the bigger your purpose, the more money it can attract. That's the first thing. All right, so if your goal, like a lot of people say that like I don't even want money, I'm not interested in money, and I just want enough so that I can handle everything. Well, good. That's going to be the limit. That's then what you're going to get. But not, you're actually not going to get that. What you're going to get is the struggle to get there. That's actually what you're going to get. When you hear people say that, at the same time, try to understand what they live like or how they're living. They're spending 80% of their time trying to make money. See why? Because see, this is how the universe works. You really have to understand this. This is actually how it works. So if you get the purpose of just being happy, or I just want enough. I just want enough. That's the cap that you're setting here. This is the ceiling. Okay, this is the ceiling. Now, your life, your mind, and the universe is set up to have your goal at the end of your journey. Do you see? And this is how your mind works. Your mind cannot understand game over. Your mind does not it can understand game over, but it's not built to hit that. You see what I mean? It's not built to hit game over. It is built to figure out ways to get to game over. Your brain, your mind is a problem-solving mechanism. You see? So what it does is it constantly creates solutions in order to get somewhere. Now, if this is your goal, the ceiling, I just want to have enough, you're never going to have enough, because your mind and your brain wants to solve problems to get there. So what's going to happen? Once, like almost when you almost there to hit that, boom, you're gonna go back to the bottom or somewhere before that. That's how it works. You're gonna be thrown back to there. So the first thing that you have to understand is that you can never make your purpose connected to money. Number two, the purpose has to be so big that any amount of money, billions, whatever, is not enough to accomplish it. And this is when you're going to actually accomplish it. Think of the best example is Elon Musk. All right. He doesn't even have the purpose of building rocket ships or getting people to Mars. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to help mankind survive into I don't know, into the future. Okay, so his purpose is connected to all of mankind. His purpose is connected to something really, really massive. Okay, and this is the richest man in the world, you know. And I watched an interview where somebody talked to him. He was actually doing an interview with Elon Musk on the day where it was announced that he's the richest guy in the world, right? And he asked Elon Musk, so what does it feel like to be the richest man in the world? He was like, interesting, let's get back to work. You see? So he literally doesn't give a shit about it. Okay? Point. And he sold all of his cars, he sold all of his mansion and all of that stuff. See? And that's not even like I'm not saying anything about materialistic things here. That doesn't even matter. The point is, how do you break the glass ceiling that you're experiencing? That's what I'm trying to show you. Okay, and it is literally just a certain way of thinking about this thing. That's going to limit what you're able to attract. All right, so that's the first thing. So don't limit yourself by I just want to be happy. I just want to have enough. You're limiting yourself. You're literally making it impossible. Okay, what about a goal that is impossible to reach? What about that? You see, and see what happens. And see the amount of energy that you're going to have. Fuck. Do you know that your purpose is also connected to the energy that you have to make something happen? Just watch it. Pick a purpose big enough and watch how much energy you're going to be able to generate, how much energy is going to be flowing through you. Remember, the universe is a system of energy. Through your thoughts, you're inviting a certain amount of energy into your sphere, into your life. So watch what's going to happen when you pick a purpose that is so massive. How much energy is going to come to you, how much energy you're going to be able to generate, and how much money is going to be connected to that, because money is nothing but energy. And once you got this energy, all you need to know is how to transform that into money. And what I just talked about is one form of doing that. Attention, turning that into money. How do you do that? You can basically, almost all forms of money, almost all forms of energy can be transformed into the energy of money. Right? So how do you look at life? How do you structure yourself? And by the way, see, like I said, our evolution takes place in the mind for the most part. Okay. And I said that a principle in nature that you will see is that more survival means more organized or more structured. Right? Now, what does that mean for us? It means that the better we structure the mind, the better results we're going to get, and the more survival we're going to be, and the stronger mentally, emotionally we're going to be, and the better we're going to be able to accomplish all of the things that we want. And the same applies to magic, of course, too. The better your magic is going to be. Right? So at the top, you got your purpose. Purpose. That's the first thing that you need to find. If you don't have a purpose now, invent it. Who gives a shit? Right? Invent it till you know it much clearer. This has to be fucking big. This is going to determine the ceiling of what you're going to do with your life, what you're going to do with your body, what you're going to do with your with everything. People heal themselves of impossible fucking diseases because they have a reason to do it. People survive impossible fucking hardship because they have a reason to do it. You understand? People make ungodly amounts of money because they fucking have a reason to do it. You see? Okay? If your goal is to impress women with money, if your goal is to get a nice car with money, if your purpose is to buy a nice mansion, first of all, you're not even going to get those things. And secondly, life is going to be fucking hard because your purpose determines your energy level. Everything's going to be fucking hard. Oh my God, I have to get up this morning. I just want to stay laying down. You're not going to have energy to do shit. You understand? Okay, so this is a very, very important point. That's why I emphasize it. Okay, it's like I don't want to get all wrapped up here. But okay, this is the first thing. Purpose number one. And ideally, the purpose is almost impossible to accomplish. It should be so big that it's gonna be like a journey. All right, it's gonna be a big journey. Secondly, you have to choose a general direction. Okay, the purpose is kind of like the North Star. All right, based on like seeing the North Star, you can kind of like look a little bit into the future. Let's say, in my view, you should never plan much longer than 3 to 4 months because life is a system, right? Things has a lot of moving parts, so things are going to change, right? But 3-4 months, I think, is a realistic planning range, all right? So, or a time frame, right? So, the second thing is you create a plan, all right? You have a plan for the next 3 months, 3-4 months. Okay. What is a plan? A plan can be defined as the plan is something like the a specific goal that you want to hit within the next 3 to 4 months. And it's also kind of like an idea of how to do that, applying what we said before. in the most efficient way, with the least amount of energy, maximum impact. Okay, so that would be a plan. All right, so a plan has the parts of a goal, an outcome that you want, and kind of like steps in between. All right, steps in between that need to be accomplished. So let me make it more concrete. What is my purpose? My purpose is I want to I want to I wanted to be the best rock climber in the world. Okay, I want to be the best rock climber in the world. That would be the purpose. All right. Now, the plan of the next 3-4 months, I wanna climb Mount Everest. All right. That's the plan for the next 4 months. Okay. And let me break down plan. So what are essentially the things that need to happen so that I can climb Mount Everest within the next 3 months? Well, I have to be fit enough. I have to have the body conditions to be able to do that. As a preparation and practice, I would probably climb a couple of mountains that are 6,000 up. I mean, Mount Everest is, I think, 8,000 meters. I don't know how many feet that is. But Mount Everest is around 8,000. Okay. And as a preparation in the next 3 months before I do that, in order to get the fitness, I want to climb 6,000 mountains. Okay. And then I need a team, because you don't do that all by yourself. Okay. So I want to find the right people, okay, to do that with. Okay, and so on and so forth. There would be a bunch of different things in there. Okay. And then you would also try to, of course, bring that into some sort of a chronological order. Okay, so what needs to happen before the next step? Okay? So like, you can't do that randomly. Okay, so one thing has to happen before something else, obviously, right? Because before I climb the two 6,000 mountains, I'm going to have to find the team first, right? I think that makes sense. So you're going to have to do certain things before others. And then what you're going to do is you're going to break that down into a program. What is a program? A program comes from I think it's a Latin or Greek word. I don't know. It comes from progredere, which means to progress. Okay, so how do you progress? A program. A program consists of targets. A program consists of different targets. What does that mean? All right. So I now know what the plan looks like. I know in what chronological order these things need to be hit. These goals need to be hit. Okay. Let's say I have 3 months time to climb Mount Everest, which means I should find the team within a couple of weeks, right? So that we have time to climb to 6,000ers, and I develop the physical fitness to get up there, right? So I know the chronological order of those steps, and I know what time frame I have. All right, and what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take the smaller parts of the plan, the individual goals. I'm going to break them down into very, very small steps. Those are targets. Okay, so that could look like something like this. Okay, by the way, the entire time frame here is, like I said, it's like 3 months. Okay, I don't know if you can even see this, but the entire time frame here is 3 months, right? So this means that within 2 weeks, have a team of 4 people. That could be one target that I have. Right? Boom. Then the next target is next thing is I have within 4 months, within 4 weeks, be able to run for run 2 miles within 20 minutes or something like that, right? So fitness goals, you know, you got to keep yourself increasing your fitness if you want to do that. And of course, the progress within one time frame is determined by where you want to be in the end. You see, this will also give you metrics. Metrics are extremely important, man. First of all, there's something that you have to know, where only what you pay attention to increases. All right. How do you prove that? Well, let's look at the opposite. If you don't pay attention to your car for 4 months, is it going to improve? It's probably not going to improve. If you don't pay attention to your house for 2 years, do you think the house is going to improve in its quality? No, it's going to be the opposite. You see what I mean? The same with these things. All right, whatever it is that you need to pay attention to, if you don't pay attention to it, it's going to decrease. Now, the way to pay attention to it is metrics. You need statistics. Someone needs to measure it. Understand? As it is measured and you got numbers, it means that you have an idea. You can even, like, you know, draw graphs and all that stuff. You see, and you have like you have a living, breathing thing at that point. Okay, the operation comes to life. You know exactly where it's at, and you know exactly, based on these diagrams, you know exactly where to improve it and what to do and all that stuff, right? And well, once you've broken it down in all these targets, you can essentially, you know, break that down to your daily routine. You know, like, you should have a routine, and you will know exactly what to do each day, right? And you will know exactly what to accomplish each day in order to get there. And I tell you you know how motivational that is? That's extremely motivational. You know exactly what to do. You know exactly what direction you're going in. It's aligned with your purpose. You're gonna be like bang, 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 bang. You're gonna hit those targets so fast, and each target, check mark, check mark, check mark. You're gonna blow past all obstacles. You're gonna blow past life. All right. Now, let's talk about money a little bit here. Okay, let's talk about money. See, your business philosophy should be very simple. It should be, how do I take the energy that I have and transform it into something that somebody else wants? Okay, so that could happen in so many different ways. Okay, but everything in the universe functions in this way. Like, remember what I said about this process, pipeline, organization chart. You know, the body works like this. Money in general works like this. Concepts work like this. Countries work like this. Your mind works like this. And sure as hell, a business works like that too. Okay? So you do the same thing with your business, with any business. You see, like, in this day and age, you build a system online, and it just keeps running for you. You don't even you have to set it up once, and then don't pay attention to it, and it's going to keep generating money for you. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. Or if it's a business in a physical world, for the most part, you can hire people, whatever. But the point is, you would create a business in the very same way. The business needs a purpose. Now, in this case, the purpose of a business, if it's just another income stream, it could mean that it just helps you accomplish that purpose. That's fine. That's great. So the purpose of the business is to generate money so that it can help you accomplish your purpose. Beautiful. Boom. Then you have a plan. What's the plan? The plan is, I want another 6-figure income stream within 3 months or 4 months. Boom. What's the next step? You create a program based on the plan. But based on the plan, you know, basically what needs to be in place, blah, 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 boom, 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 boom. All right. And based on that, you create targets, you see? You create targets. All right. Now, where does your magic come into play? Where does your magic come into play? Based on the organization chart, based on the pipeline, and based on these things, you will always find the most impactful point. And this is where you focus all of your magical efforts on. If you do an evocation or something like that, you tell the spirit to work on that. Boom. Fix that. Okay. Could be affecting this person, that person. The point is this. The point is this. Remember, the laws of evolution apply to biology as well as the mind. Organization is the key to survival. Survival means efficiency, minimum effort, maximum impact. Minimum effort, maximum impact, which requires to be be intentional and to be surgical. You need to be surgical. How are you going to be surgical with your energy and your spell if you don't have this structure? It's impossible. What you're going to do is you're going to do a business. I mean, you're gonna blindly try to build something, and you're going to do a ritual to be like, oh, let's do a ritual to create $1 million business, and you know the chances of that happening, it's not gonna work. You know, it's kind of like the people that what's the word? The point is this: randomness never gets results. So you doing a ritual like this that I just described is the equivalent to, I don't know, sending a storm onto a dumpster, okay, a dumping ground, a storm, okay, and the storm taking the elements of the dumpster and randomly by chance creating a jet, including a pilot sitting in the cockpit with a white shirt. You know, that's like, it's almost impossible. Okay, chances are not zero, but so close to zero that never in hell this shit is going to happen. The same with you and a spell that I want $1 million or something like that. Not going to happen. You see, so you could apply the same stuff to your investments. Of course, you could apply the same stuff to every area of life. You see, this is something that works universally. Okay? And this is how you bring an idea into reality. This is how you beat every single enemy, no matter who it is. We're talking about organization. You know why a virus could kill a person? Because the virus is less complex, all right, but better organized than a person. And probably because it is less complex, it is better organized, you see. With expansion, there's always the danger of being less efficient, and based on that compromise, okay? But the point is, if you use this, you'll be able to beat any opponent. Okay, you'll be able to beat any opponent. You'll be able to solve any problem. You're going to overcome any obstacle, and you're going to be able to create success in any industry and in every area of your life. You should have something like this for all areas of your life that you want to get results in. Okay, so this is how you bring your dreams into reality, your goals. This is how you make them real, and this is how you do seemingly miraculous stuff, you know? I mean, if you've been following me, I'm sure you've watched my videos before, right? And where I was like, man, I wiped the floor with all these other magicians, you see? And the confidence is justified, I promise you, because it is true. And it's not necessarily just because of my energy, because, hey, I'm just a person. They could all come against me. I don't care, you see? It's because I understand it better. So, but that's not even the point. The point is, how can you use this to maximize your efforts, all right? And to maximize the results that you get. And before we go into the Q&A, I should make an announcement here, okay? Let me read you something very exciting, which is second. So on the May 17th, which is next Monday, I believe. Hold on, let me check. Is that Monday? It should be next Monday. Okay. On the 17th, I'm going to launch the 6-month Money Magic Mastery Program, okay? Which is going to work like this. It's going to teach you mastery of money and how to apply that to money magic. The program contains 180 lessons in 12 different sections, okay? So it's pre-recorded. It goes for 6 months, and every single day you're going to get a new lesson, all right? 1 lesson per day will be unblocked. Here are the modules, okay? Module number 1 is entrepreneurial life skills, which are 38 lessons. Then the second module is applying Pareto principle to your life. This is 21 lessons. Financial skills part 1, which is 16 lessons. Then you got financial skills part 2, which is 15 lessons. You got generating income through language and talents. No, through language talents, sorry. That's 20 lessons, okay? So module 5, 20 lessons. Module 5 itself has 20 lessons, okay? Module 1 has 38, and so on and so forth, okay? Module number 6 has 10 lessons, which is generating income through technical skills. Module 7 has 5 lessons, which is generating cash flow through partnerships. Module 8 has 3 lessons, which is correctly investing your first $10,000 generated with the system that I'm going to teach you. Module number 9 has 10 lessons, which is generating income through information products. Module number 10 has 30 lessons, which is generating income through Amazon, eBay, and drop shipping. Module number 11 has 12 lessons, which is multiplying your income results through Magick. All right. So these altogether are 180 lessons, 1 lesson unlocked every day, everything pre-recorded. So as you go through the program, all of these things will be unlocked for you. And that's something that I'm really excited about. That's just an offer. You know, of course, you don't have to, you see. However, I highly recommend that. If you want to get a complete control over money. And what is control? Or rather, see, one thing that I've learned, and I truly believe that is, as soon as you understand something completely, you have control over it, and it can no longer affect you in a negative way. I truly believe that in every area of life. I really do. See, when you understand something, it means that you have control over it. Control means that you can begin it, you can initiate the process, you can maintain the process, and you can stop it. All right. And look, money is just another topic that you can understand and control. All right. So you can have control over it, and combined with, with Magick, you're gonna multiply the results. But the point is this: you should look for control and understanding wherever you go. And I'm really excited about this program because, see, this is going to give a lot of people out there a complete handle on this fucking topic. See, it's I think this is one of the big tragedies in the world, really, that people don't have a handle on this subject. I mean, the other day I was what was that? I have what's the word? I have 1 family and 3 kids that I do charity for. I completely finance them. To 3 kids and a family, not my family, but through charity. And you wouldn't believe how many of these kids have been sold and molested and all this shit. It's crazy. And that only happens because of poverty, obviously, right? And there are, of course, some people that have a demand for that, which they are supposed to be killed, of course. But the point is, there's only shit like that happening because there's scarcity, and there doesn't need to be scarcity. That's the point. Like, it's not even necessary. You can get a handle on that, you see. And I'm happy because a lot of people are going to get a handle on that subject, you know, which opens up so much potential. Which opens up so much potential, which is what we need. And yeah, with that being said, let's go into the Q&A. Please type in me, and I'm going to unlock it for you, or rather, I'm going to let you know that you can unmute yourself. Any questions? I hope that doesn't mean I didn't make it clear. Was it understandable? Did it make sense to you guys? Maybe that's the right question. Just type in yes if it was helpful. Okay, good. Thanks. Yes, okay. Awesome. Okay. And what's next? Yeah. Another announcement. Magick Mentor. On the 14th, new lessons are going to be uploaded, and that's going to go till lesson 400. Okay, so every day, new lesson unlocked all the way up to lesson 400, and I think that will be the last lesson of the program. Yeah, it's around 400. For those of you who were waiting for these lessons, they're coming on the 14th, and okay then. So hope you got something out of this. And do you really have no question at all? No question. Because I'm gonna.
I got a question, Frank.
Yeah, what's up, Adrian?
Yeah, my question is, I was thinking of like investing into like an animation studio. Like, let's say it's an animation studio that's been going strong for years and they're very successful. But how would I go about, like, let's say, like if I wanted to buy, like I would have to buy stocks from them, right? Or like maybe like a magazine, like a like let's say Marvel or DC Comics, something like that. Like if I wanted to invest money into them to make money, I mean, to somehow make like
Well, when it comes to stocks, you have two ways of investing. Actually, three ways of investing in stocks. You can invest for let's say two ways. Okay, you can invest for capital gains and you can invest for dividends. All right. So dividends is essentially like passive income where you get a regular payment, and capital gains means that you expect the stock to go up, the stock price to go up in the future. That's why you buy low and sell high. So those are the two ways that you can invest in the stock market. All right. So to make money off it, what type of money do you want to make off of it? You see. That's the question. You see.
Okay. Which one would you like if you were to do that? Which one would you go with? Like, which one would you think is the most like?
I really don't know anything about that industry, but generally speaking, you need a portfolio that has all of those in there. Depends on your age too. Okay, it depends on how old you are, because you want to retire at one point, right? And when you're younger, you can take more risks, obviously. So the ratio between dividend stocks and stocks where you go for capital gains is different, meaning you have more risk, a more risky portfolio, because you can afford to lose more because you can make it back. You see? So, but what you should also do is you should, as soon as possible, you should build up a portfolio that pays dividends. That's passive income. See, financial freedom is defined by how many days of the month do you not have to work and your fixed costs are still covered. Okay, so you need to know your fixed costs. Let's say, as example, I don't know, $5,000. You need $5,000 a month, and as soon as you have assets that pay you $5,000 passively, you're financially free. All right, so that's what you should go for first. That's the first thing that you look at. Okay, and then that's how you build it up. See, Adrian, I truly believe that you're somebody that needs this program for real, okay? Because I'm going to cover everything in there, everything. Remember what I was reading there? It covers literally everything. You know, so.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that program. Just, you know, it's the 17th, you said, right? Now,
Yeah,
just to,
and it's going to be, I think it's affordable, and it's nothing compared to the value that you get. It's $97 a month, and it's actually almost, I mean, I'm really giving it away for sure. But yeah, just look at it. Just look at the.
no, so that I understand, it's gonna be only like for those months, so I could sign up any one of those 6 months, right? But after that, it's gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can sign up later. You don't have to sign up now.
Okay, cool.
George, what's your question?
Hey Frank, I got something I wanted to ask you if you can check. I'm trying to transfer my job to Colorado, and I want to see if I can get the transfer, because right now it's taking a long time for them to accept it and stuff like that. I wanted to see if it's going to be accepted, or should I try another place?
Yeah, I'm sure there are going to be lectures where I'm going to do readings, but right now I'm not going to do readings.
Okay, thank you.
Christian, what's your question?
Hey, you mentioned that the subconscious is set up to fulfill your purpose at the end of your journey. Is it reasonable to create a purpose that's so big that it would take several lifetimes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's my question. Thanks.
Prithvi, what's your question?
You said we start copying personality of whom we watch and respect. And is there a way we can stop changing our personality to the information we feed ourselves?
Is there a what? A what stop?
Whomever we see, like for example, I see an influencer, my personality starts changing according to it. And you also said that whoever you watch and respect, you also start becoming like that, like them. So is there a way to stop becoming what you feed to your mind or brain?
No. And you don't have to respect the person to become more like them. It's literally irrelevant. Look, you're exposed to their communication, and communication is defined as energy flowing from one person to another. So your energy is being exchanged, and you are becoming more like the other person. You don't have a choice. You literally don't have a choice. The only way to avoid becoming like somebody is to avoid them, to avoid communicating with them. You literally have to stop communicating with them. That's how you cut them off, and that's how you stop their influence on you. Anyone else who communicates with you is going to influence you. I mean, check yourself after a day at work or whatever you do. you're going to be affected by the other people that were around you, right? So there is no way to avoid that. Energy is flowing between people, and actually not just between people, you know, animals, objects, all of these things interact energy, or they send energy back and forth between each other.
Yes, yeah, I observed myself. My way of thinking totally changed in what environment I step into. And that's actually scare me more rather than making me happy about it. Okay, thank you so much for the answer.
Yeah. It is actually, well, it is not something to be scared about, but it's something to be aware about, that's for sure. Okay, so to the extent that you can, you know, yeah, I choose to stay away from a lot of people, actually. So yeah. Okay, so Jason, what's your question?
Yeah, Frank, do you have any recommendations or anything to say on the topic of money management as far as like how much you invest versus expenses and things like that, like just organizing your money in different aspects?
How I do it personally?
Yeah, because I mean, I noticed with myself, I do pretty good in that area. It can just be better if I tighten it up, because sometimes, some months, I can end up spending more on like myself, investing in myself,
Yeah.
rather than invest in places where my money can actually like grow
Yeah.
and things like that.
For some reason, it works like this: that you will make the amount that you think you have to make. That's really what it is. So when you have targets, that's the best way to keep it in check. Just need to set targets for each area. I have daily goals for that. I want a daily income. I'm not even looking at monthly income. I'm looking at daily income. Like I want this today, like this today. Then when you set your mind on it, when that's a goal, when it's a target, and you have your life structure like that, or your routine structure like that, it occurs. It happens. You know, not 100% of the time, but more than 80% of the time it does. 80-90%. So see, I think if I would really break it down into the most basic principle, it is energy management. You see, the only thing that we have really is our time and energy. Forget everything else. What we have is our attention and energy. And it costs energy to keep your attention on something, which is your ability to manifest, or your ability to control life, your ability to control your life, and to create is limited by your ability to keep your attention on something. So first of all, if somebody talks about money or increasing their income, the first thing that I would ask them is, to what extent are you distracted with bullshit? That's the first question that you have to ask yourself. And I ask myself that all the time, because I do tend to get distracted by bullshit. Of course, we all do. But I tell you what, when it comes to your daily routines, here's how I found it works really well. For instance, get rid of notifications. All right, disenable, or whatever that's called. Like shut off all notifications, from all apps. Your focus and your flow determine the outcome in your life, what you're able to create. Okay, so how do you expect to generate money or create something of value if you're getting distracted all the time? Your focus is moving away from you. So if you have all kinds of notifications, let's say every time somebody sends you a message, you hear it, boom, what's happening is your focus is being distracted. And it takes around, that's actually scientific studies here, it takes you around 15 minutes to go back into a fully focused state. And that's called the flow. The flow is where we forget about time and we're able to create really well and be creative and all that stuff, right? So if you got notifications all over the fucking place, how are you going to get anything done? And if you're going to get something done, it's going to be 10% of what you could have done, if that. Number one, that's the first thing. Also, I work in chunks, so I have 2-hour chunks. All right, so each activity or each production that I do, 2 hours, and then I take a 30-minute break or a little bit longer, wherever I feel until I clear again, and then I focus again for 2 hours, and then I clear up, and then I focus again for 2 hours, right? And that works very well because in those 2 hours, I can actually get shit done. And then be aware of your cycles. You know, like, how does your body react to food? Or like it will react different to food based on what food it is. It will react different to you know, what time of the day it is, you know, and your mental energy is completely dependent on your physical state, you see. So all of these things need to be taken into consideration. You know, you can't wake up in the morning and eat a donut and expect to be productive during the day. You see what I mean? That's why all of these things are interconnected. You see what I mean? People talk about making money, but they can't even focus for 10 minutes, you know? So that's the most fundamental thing. That's the most important thing. Like, how are you going to acquire knowledge if you are distracted? If you can't focus for a certain amount of time, you see? And something valuable cannot be understood. Like something actually valuable cannot be understood within 10 minutes. That's something that you have to like digest. You have to take it in. Also, do you study? How much do you study every day? How much? Yeah, I mean, how do you use your time? That's really it, man. That's really it. So you're not going to be able but see, all of that is actually the result of having a purpose. Of course, if there's no purpose, why would I be disciplined? You know, discipline is actually like, what's the word? Discipline is consists of 2 words, which means, I think it's Greek words or Latin words. I don't know. One of them means, well, it goes back to the root of student and pulling something or educating the student, all right, educating the student. So it's essentially, it could be translated into the ability to get the maximum out of oneself. That's discipline. But you can only have that in regards to a specific goal. So how do you have discipline? First of all, you need a specific goal, and you need a reason why you want to accomplish that goal. You see? And I think on I don't know, a couple of weeks back, I did a video on how to overcome procrastination. It's also on my YouTube. And I think that plays a role as well. Like if you procrastinate, the purpose is not there. The purpose isn't important enough. If the purpose is big enough, you can blow past any fucking obstacle. Plus, there's another thing. Maybe that was a little bit oversimplifying it, but here's another thing. The mind is extremely powerful and gives you solutions very quickly. Whenever you are confused and don't know the direction, it's because you don't have enough data. Data could also be structure. So the first thing that you should do whenever you feel confused is you should get rid of all randomness, okay? So all random papers, all like lists that you have, you get rid of them, and you create a smaller list, and then you structure that list, boom. And then the next step is to write out every single question that you have, boom, 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 and then research the answer, and you're going to find, boom, you're going to know exactly what to do next and how to continue. Sounds like a long process, takes maybe 5 minutes, if that. You see. And if you don't do that process, I'll tell you what the outcome is going to be. You're going to sit there the entire day, going from this to that activity, to this activity, to that activity, and feeling confused. You're going to feel trapped. You're going to feel like not in control. And that's the other alternative. So either 5 minutes of that process that I just went into, or an entire day, weeks, months. People can get stuck in that state for years. Yeah, but productivity comes from clarity, and yeah, it starts with that. So discipline, I believe, is possible once you got the purpose down. That's it. Okay. Who's next? Christian, what's your question?
Okay, so my question is, for me, perfectionism is a prevalent issue. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfectionism is a prevalent issue. So my question is, what chakra is that associated with, and how can I overcome that?
Okay, can you define perfectionism for me, please?
Like planning before I execute, gathering too much information, or trying to create a certain amount of competency before I move forward.
So overthinking.
Yeah.
That means that there's not enough structure. Data that is not connected. Random data is not information. Information is data points that are connected and structured in a certain way. So if you overthink, it just means that your mind is trying to figure out how these data points line up. It's kind of like overthinking, you could say, is kind of like not seeing how things line up. So what the structure is going to do is it's going to take all of these rocks around you, which is the data points, and they're going to line them up to create a path very easily. And once again, your mind does that really, really fast once you give it a goal and a purpose. And another point is that, see, the mind cannot progress unless it has that map or that path. So if you're overthinking and you have a goal and a purpose in mind, it just means that you don't have enough data. It's not too little, it's too much. It's not too much, it's too little. So what you should do at that point is to, like I said, write down all questions that come to your mind. How do I do this? How do I do that? Who do I need to call? How do you who do you have to hire to make this happen? What is this program called? Whatever the problems might be, you write it all out, then you start researching, and boom, the structure is going to be there. But the point is, and this is for all of you guys, you actually have to try this out and you have to apply it. What you learned in this lecture, you actually have to apply to your own life. Okay, so ideally, you watch the replay, you take notes, and then you take those notes and apply them to your life. And I promise you, your life is going to get better.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay, Adrian, what's your question?
Hey, Frank. So yeah, this is kind of a question relating to what I've been doing for like a side hustle. My question is this: it's two questions, but the first one is this: ideally, I want to make a certain amount of money within the shortest amount of time possible. So the job I have now is not paying me too much, and it's not giving me like 5 or 6 days a week. So like, let's say days that I'm not working, I was thinking of going to like a temp agency and filling in the blanks with working a few hours somewhere else. But I'm thinking, instead of that, why don't I just use that whole day to invest in my business of creating a video or speaking about my passion, which, as you know, it's like comics and stuff like that. And I've had a lot of, Zoom calls, and a lot of people have, they like it, they tune in and they're seeing some value in it. I even made my first $50 a few weeks ago. So, I mean, there is something being generated, but I don't think it's going to happen so quickly because it's going to take time and energy. So my first question is, what would you do in that situation? If you need a certain amount of money quickly, what's the best way to, what's the word? Maximize my time and energy and get the most amount of money.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing here, like I agree with a lot of things that you say. However, there's one thing that I would recommend, basically, try to expand the things that you can use to make to create value. Okay, and can you mute yourself? There's a sound that's a little bit distracting. Okay, so the thing is, which is good. You're thinking about how you can use your passion to generate value for others. That's great. You should do that. But sometimes the let's say the group of customers or the target market that you have is not really, or is not necessarily generating the amount of money that you want or need. You see what I mean? So for me personally, the solution for that is to have like many different income streams. So don't think that you can only have one. Actually, I don't think you can be financially free if you only have one income stream. You know, I think that's kind of like not going to work. So see how you can generate multiple income streams. And if the question is what you just asked me, how do I generate a lot of money fast? Okay, let me go through this thought experiment. Let's say I have no money. Let's say I know nobody. Let's say I'm dropped off in a place where I have no contacts, I have no money, and all I have is the knowledge that I have. Okay, how would I make money very, very fast? Okay, so the first thing that I would do is I would start talking to people. In the modern world, that means you use the internet or just watch certain forums or whatever. People give you all the information about themselves, which is beautiful. See, the key to making money in a lot of ways is to provide value, and value is what brings people pleasure or what solves a problem for them, meaning gets rid of a pain. All right. So let's say this is a city or a place. I have no money. I know nobody. What I would do is I would start listening to people. Okay. I would start listening to conversations. I would talk to people and try to find out what their problem is. Okay. And ideally, I would find out who the richest group, what is the richest demographic here? Okay. Who are the richest people? And they always look, I mean, rich people hang out together. So all you got to do is probably go to a place or be in proximity of where rich people are. Okay. And then you would find out what their problems are. Okay. You listen, you find out what a lot of those people struggle with, and then you provide a solution to that. And that's it. And rich people can always, or are willing to pay more. I tell you what, like rich people are always more grateful, and they understand value. And I've never seen anyone who was financially successful that wasn't willing to pay for a service and pay well for it. You know, this is also a common theme that you will see. I don't know, like when you deal with rich people, they're always grateful. They always say thank you. They're always polite, and they always want to give back, you know, and they never do you hear anything about, I don't know, but not because they have so much money. That might be part of it too, but no, they understand value. They always want to reciprocate, you see. But people that are broke, usually they always just take. They take, and never do they give something back, which is, you could say, okay, they're like, it's a good strategy, but the world doesn't work that way. The world does not work that way. It actually works the opposite. The more you give, the more comes back. Okay. You can't pull money in. That's the wrong thought. You cannot take. You cannot be like a what's it called, a leech, you know. And if most people that are broke are leeches, they want something from the world. The key to make money though is to give. So the first thing that you should think about, how do I make money? First of all, you can't make money. What you can do is you can exchange something where people give you money for. So the first thing that you think is, what can I provide in the world? Okay, if I was a child, what do I have that other people find desirable? I could, you know, lawn mowings or whatever the fuck they do, right? Something. If, you know, like all of these things, like living your passion and all of this shit, it's great, but it's rarely something that can make you a lot of money. Okay, so what you need to do is you got to generate multiple income streams, and today this is very easy, much easier than it used to be. I mean, think about like 20 years back, in the year 2000s, still was like that for the most part. Drop shipping or something like that was not possible. So what you would have to do is you say you want to sell shoes. Think about the fucking overhead. Think about the initial investment. Think about the payroll. All of that stuff. It's that, you know, and you don't need that anymore. You see, so
You know, it's funny, but I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was actually my second question. Like, I spoke with someone else regarding the same thing, and even though something is my passion, I was questioning whether it was useful to someone, because I mean, we've had this conversation before, but it's not. I do want to, like, me. It's weird, but I sometimes feel like my passion is that I actually want to help people. I just want to help people, and I just want to learn a little bit of everything so that I can be the kind of guy who can just help people with anything, you know. And it doesn't make sense though. So my thing is,
the first thing they should learn, Adrian, the first thing they should learn, Adrian, is to take yourself out of the equation. In life, the best results will be had if you can take yourself out of the context. If you can look at the world and take yourself out of it. You know, because at the end of the day, the world does not care about me, does not care about anyone. Look, life will go on. If we drop dead tomorrow, life will keep going on, right? So at the end of the day, we're not that important. Other people care about themselves first, and they should. So what you have to do is you need to look at the world and look at other people and take yourself out of the equation. So it's not about you. People don't give a shit what you're passionate about. People care about how you can help them with that. You see? And I know you understand that probably, but I don't think you fully get that. I don't think you fully get that. So how can you get somebody else what they want? That's the question. Okay. So your passion for comics, how can that help another person get what they want? And people want different things, you know? So your passion for comics, oh man, what would that be?
well, Frank, before we keep going, I was actually my second question was the fact that I'm thinking that maybe that's not my passion, because I discussed this with another mentor of mine, and I asked them whether or not this was just an escape that I've always found when I was growing up, because I grew up very I wouldn't say traumatic, but I grew up not liking who I was in the world, and I grew up not having any skills. So I always felt like I was pushed to that as like maybe an escape, or I chose that because it was no skill required. It was just, you know, consumerism. So I'm at the point in my life where I'm asking myself, is that truly my passion, or is my passion something more productive? You know?
Write a book about how to cope with harsh circumstances using escapism. That could be of value to some people. I actually look, just use what you know, use what you can do to get other people what they want. That's really the bottom line of this question. Okay.
Thanks, Frank.
You're welcome. Have you watched the Viking web series? No. Tinashe, what's your question?
Hello, Frank. How are you doing? Um, Let me begin. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Greetings to you. I'll begin by congratulating you as you announced the beginning of apotheism. Congratulations, brother.
Yep.
I just wanted to ask you. You answered a lot of. You already answered my questions. That's the thing about your lectures. You actually answer the questions as we're going along. So that's why I don't really have a question, because you actually answer as we're listening. That's just what I wanted to let you know. So I don't know what can I really ask is what would be the best way for me to provide others with what they want. Yeah.
I was actually having this I was actually talking to my girlfriend yesterday. I was talking about that same topic. I was like, the world is just full of problems, and there's so much to solve and so many problems, and that's a business opportunity. As soon as somebody has a problem, that's a business, man. So how do you provide that? You just find somebody that has a problem. Just look outside, look on the street. Everybody that's walking around has a problem there. Like they're just miserable, right? They gotta have a problem with something. Let's say, look, one of the most common problems is people don't have enough time. Create a course for productivity. Teach them how to have more time. People don't have enough energy. Well, teach them how to gain more energy. People don't have, and look, you think people, I mean, that's another common misconception. People think that others don't like to spend money. Well, if people don't like spending money, why is everybody broken in debt? You see? Well, it's not because they have not enough salary or whatever. No, it's because people love spending money. They just love spending money. They're actually just looking. What do people do on a weekend? They go to a fucking mall. If it's not COVID time, they go to a mall and look for opportunities to get rid of their money. You see? So you telling me they're in this world where everybody has a fucking problem and people are just waiting for opportunities to spend their money. You can't make money. That's ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. And it's in this day and age, there's no excuse. I don't believe there's an excuse for it. Okay. So just look at a problem. Everything, look, around me, around you, everywhere, there's a fucking business waiting to be started, waiting to be done. Everywhere.
Right. Thank you, Frank.
Like literally anything, man. Everything that's a problem. Yeah. Me, please, let's say I have a great product and the site is ready and functioning. Can Magick be used for getting it more noticed, or is that too vague and doesn't hit the nerves? Wait, it's too vague. Too vague. Too vague. Use what we covered today, and then find the most high leverage points. What is symbolic tied to a crow raven that stops by and takes a scope at me every day? Is there something trying to get my attention? And what do I do to find out? Yeah, crows are often messengers of spirit. So what you could do is crow. Try to communicate with it. Okay, so just wait till it shows up and then scry into the raven. That's what I would do. Yeah. What it's most likely going to do. I mean, this is something similar happened with many animals for me too. It's basically what they're usually going to do is they're going to like stay in front of you, and it's an energy transfer. You know what I mean? So what you're going to do is you're going to just look at it and open yourself up to whatever needs to be transferred. Okay. You know, some spirit, some energy is communicating through that animal to you. I guess that's what's going on there. Yeah. Okay, we did 2 hours now, a little bit more actually. What's the value? 10 out of 10. I mean, what number out of 10 was this? 100 out of 10. Thank you, appreciate it. But 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. What is it that you guys would like to hear and know? What problems do you have? What problems do you want to have solved when it comes to money magic, or when it comes to money in general? What is it that you want to know? All right. Okay. I guess my problem was the organization of the ideas, but not very clear. Investment scoping. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely do some of that. Would like to know the trick to saving money on a low budget. Yeah. Ideas that actually make money. Okay. I can definitely talk about that stuff. Ideas that actually make money. Okay. All right, guys. Organizing. Thinking process, important points. Okay. The next lecture that I'm going to do is probably going to be Saturday services. Okay, you're going to get notified if you want to take part in it. You're always welcome, of course, and watch out for further notifications. Bye-bye. Be well.